First of all, I hope that everybody is having a good holiday weekend, a good Labor Day. This is actually my favorite holiday, and it's my favorite month of the year. I love September; it's very beautiful. Right now, I'm going to have some dialogue. Let me play this song first. And wait for some people to come in. I'm just gonna have some dialogue about something that happened this past week when I was at school. And I'm going to wait for a few people to come in before I start. Hello, hello to anybody that has joined me. Let's play this song, kind of give me an intro.
Some restaurant stand just suggested.
Before I get started, this is not going to be an angry black woman thing. I know a lot of you tune in that are different races and you're like, oh, she's an angry black woman. She's blaming the world. That's not what this is. I'm going to tell you guys what this is. But first, let's play this song because it kind of fits what I'm about to talk about. Hey, hey.
Calling your black is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin when you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't contain me, no. So they wanna come change me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery. Not to the fix yet. So no, 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 I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. Whoa, whoa. You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Whoa. Out of many, one people all the same. Circle of blood flow through with it. The strongest survive the human race. Only love will last along the way. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. And we now go back for no privilege. Knowledge is a ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. When your black is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin when you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't condemn me, no. So they wanna come change me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery. Me no see the fix yet. So no, 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 I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. Ooh, you won't be taking what's mine, I don't play about my culture. Yeah. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't have to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. And we now go fight for the privilege. Knowledge is the ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl.
Black is the big threat. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Black is beautiful. Growing up, my mother used to always say black is beautiful. So I never grew up being insecure, though I grew up as a chocolate baby girl, chocolate little girl. I was also darker when I was younger. I'm trying to let the song finish playing. I love the song. But as a little girl, I was actually darker than I am now. I got lighter over time, but I'm going to have a black conversation. So I don't know if you're going to be able to relate to this conversation. If you're not black, African American, or just it's the same thing, African. But I would like for you to listen and not jump to conclusions because I'm about to have a serious conversation. But listen to educate yourself and learn because we are all God's children. But in this song, she says, when you're black is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Thank you so much. Hello, your lock, Elmo. Yes, I love that song. I do. I just want to talk about what happened to me this past weekend, and it's nothing sad, but it did like take me for it took me back. Like I kind of got shocked. So I'm in school now by the grace of God. I've been waiting to get in school. And with what happened to me in the Army and being separated from that pain, from that trauma, from me failing and them just kicking me out and being like, blank you, whatever, God still came through for me. Though I'm undeserving, though it hurt, though I didn't want it, then he still came through for me. And one of the ways he did is by paying for my schooling by the Army, although I'm not in it anymore. But at this Christian school, which I'm enjoying so far, it's been a blessing because they stand on biblical principles. And for me as a Christian, I wanted to go to a school who stands on biblical principles. I was tired of going to schools that celebrated gay anything and abortion and looked at you crazy when you said you were pro-life or traditional marriage. I was tired of going to schools that were so antichrist, or at least had these doctrines that didn't line up with my Christian beliefs. So I wanted to go to a school that put God first, like Regent University in Virginia Beach. That's where I was supposed to go, but I ended up getting settled in Texas and getting an apartment, so I'm going to the one I'm going to now. And what happened was I walked in the office because something happened in the classroom that I was uncomfortable with. I was upset. I was very mad. Okay. And I was upset. I'm not going to lie. I was black girl angry because of the situation. But that's not what this video is going to be about. It's just going to be about the aftermath. And this is what the video is going to be about. So when I walked in the office, y'all, I just walked in. There is a group of what happened to have been some Caucasian young ladies and some Latino young ladies and a Caucasian male, a white male administrator, teacher, professor, or administrator. And they was all like laughing and having a good time. And they were just kind of doing that before I walked in, so it was no big deal. But when I walked in, it changed the whole aroma. And I have a lot of African dashikis. As you guys know, I am Nigerian. I'm a black girl that grew up in America, but ethnically, I'm an African woman. I am Nigerian. That's my predominant African country that I am made up most of. So I'm very Afrocentric. So when I went to school on Thursday, the last day, I wear my dashiki, absolutely what I have on right now. And I have on a lot of dashikis. I wear my African earrings that I love to wear. I wear my little hair wrap and my dashiki. And when I walked in the room, the energy just shifted because all of a sudden they all was looking at me, but it wasn't just like looking like, oh, that's different. That's interesting. Or that's cute. Or just admiring it. Okay, that's different. Because some people are unbothered no matter what color they are. It's not like people are just hating like, oh, you're black and beautiful, or oh, you look different, whether I think you're beautiful or not. You look all right, but that's different. Some people don't care. Like, I ain't thinking about you. And I get that because I'm not the cream of the crop. I look all right. I get that. We're all beautiful in God's image. I think that at my best, I look beautiful. But I'm saying that day I probably looked all right. Like right now, I look all right. I'm not on my boom, 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 bam right now. But to them, they were like shook. Like, y'all, I am passionate about this. So the expressions was like looking at me funny, the Caucasian girls and some of these Latino girls. And I am not saying that every white girl and every Mexican girl who was in that group, is shook by a beautiful black woman, but these ones in particular was, and they was like making faces. Then they started like acting like they was laughing about what they were laughing at before I walked in, but I knew they were laughing at me and the way I was dressed. And then they started kind of like looking at me funny. And so the thing that got me was like, why are you so shook just because I'm dressed up in my heritage clothing and my ethnic clothing? A Mexican girl can wear her, what is it called? She can dress up and wear her poncho, which I love to wear ponchos too. An Asian girl can wear her, I forgot what they're called, but they're these pretty Asian dresses. Y'all know what they call. They all shiny and pretty, and everybody loves to wear them. A Scottish woman or Scottish man can dress up in their ethnic clothes. Everybody else can dress up in their ethnic clothes, but when a black woman shows up with a dashiki and a hair wrap and some African jewelry, people get shook. Like, do you think I'm too prideful? Like I'm doing too much? They were just looking at me like the looks they were giving me were very salty. They was like, and then they started laughing but trying to play it off. Then I noticed that the Caucasian professor was making faces, but he thought I couldn't see him because he was turned toward them, but they was looking at them and they was like looking at each other. And now this happened to be a Caucasian male professor and some Caucasian. So I ain't got time to be saying all these fancy words like African American. I'm gonna say black instead. I'm not finna say Caucasian. I'm finna say white. So there was some white girls, there was some Mexican girls, and there was a white man, and they were all making faces and they was laughing, but it had shifted towards me. So it was like they was looking at me like, how dare her? Like, oh, she thinks she all that. Like, what is that? It was like that. Now again, I understand understand that I already know that, and I don't know if they were racist. I just think they're uncultured or uneducated. So to them seeing me all kind of did up like this, just a regular dashiki and some hair wrap and these beautiful earrings that anyone could wear, but they are African earrings, was like, oh, what is this? What the heck? What is that? That's what the white girls was giving me, and that's what those Mexican girls were giving me too, and that's what that white professor was giving me, and I was catching it. And then one girl, the Hispanic girl, was like doing like this. She was like smiling at me, but she was really laughing at me. She was being fake, but I just gave her that fake energy back. I was like, ha ha, yeah, I can see straight through you. And the white girls was like looking, and then the professor was looking, but the way he was looking at them, they was like talking about me, but with their eyes. So I'm just looking at them because for me, it's an educational moment. Because again, why is it that everyone else can dress up in their ethnic clothing, in their heritage clothing, and it be okay if you Scottish, if you Puerto Rican, if you Mexican, if you Filipino, Chinese? Why is it okay for everybody else, but when a black sister do it, everybody, like, some people get shook, some whites get shook, some Latinos get shook? Because at the same time, y'all are still Latinos. I know some of y'all be like, you think I'm right? Some of y'all are still Europeans. So though it's not all of y'all, some people could care less about what I got on. They're not thinking about me. Some of y'all get shook. Some Karens out there get shook. Some uneducated whites get shook. Some uneducated Hispanics get shook. And it's like, why? Anybody else can dress up in their clothing and be themselves, but when a black girl does it, it's like, ugh, what's wrong with her? What is that? And I thought that was sad because I was like, this is a Christian school. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe that it's 2024 and they're giving me these looks right now because I'm a black girl with a hair wrap and an African dashiki on and African jewelry on, because at the same time I'm African, just like at the same time Mexicans are still white people. Like, you know, what is all this nastiness and these looks and these laughs? Because I know it's about me. Like I said, you can tell when the energy shifts, and the energy shift when I walked in the room, they always like, and then they started like laughing and smirking. Then they were looking at me like that, like, what in the world does she got on? And I was like, you need to make sure that, I'm not going to say make sure, but I'm going to say if you are a non-black or African-American, African, whatever, you need to make sure your kids are educated, and for blacks too, about each other's culture and ethnicities. And if you don't have a lot of different types of people in your neighborhood, if you white or Latino and it's just like whites and Latinos and no blacks in your neighborhood, or if you're black and there's no whites, Asians, Latinos, Indians in your neighborhood, guess what? You need to make sure that when you're raising your kids, you get on YouTube and show them some videos about groups and ethnicities and cultures that are different than theirs. Away when they go to the grocery store, when they go to college and they see a black girl like me with the hair wrap and African earrings and the dashiki, they don't all get shook and be giving me these nasty looks like who she thinks she is. Because it's okay for us to love our Irish, to love our Puerto Rican, to love our Mexican, to love our Scotland, to love our Asian. But when a black girl does it, ugh, she ugly, ugh, she doing too much, I bet she thinks she all that. You want to educate your kids to expose them to different ethnicities and cultures so that they don't be giving them the stank eye like they was giving me. And so I played that song for a reason. Growing up, my mom always taught me black is beautiful, and not in a prideful way, but because we were taught for so many years that it wasn't beautiful, that it was only beautiful if you were biracial, if you were light-skinned. And so my mom would always tell me, you know, I'm just, what would she say? She would be like, I'm so shocked. Like, it's amazing, but I had a beautiful chocolate baby. And she would say that she was like me. I was a pretty yellow girl, but look, I had a beautiful chocolate baby. And she would always tell me how beautiful I was. But what if she would have been like, oh, I wish you would have been light skinned. I wish you would have been half white. She didn't raise me like that. She raised me to love myself. She always said black is beautiful. She would teach me black is what makes something beautiful. But the truth is we're all beautiful, no matter the color. I just want to say that for me, it was nasty. And I was like, why does that only happen to black women? Why are we such a threat to certain individuals? Because I understand that there are some whites that are unbothered, whatever I got on, however beautiful I am, they don't care. Or they'll just be like, oh, you look cute. Oh, that's cute. Like one of the administration, the coach did. He was like, oh, I love your earrings. Me and my wife and kids, there was this African lady. She said all these patterns. We used to buy them. And I was like, yeah, they are pretty. I love them too. You know, like he was genuine. But then you have other ones that's just shook. And instead of saying that's nice or that's pretty, they just stare at you and give you these looks, these ugly looks, or they laugh and make fun of you, or they talk about you because it's different and they're not used to it. And I don't think think, I know some you might say, well, it can go both ways because there are some blacks that can do this to Asians or Hispanics or Indians. And I say it can go both ways, but I feel like most of the time it's toward black women. For some reason, people get shook about a black woman. Like, they really get bothered, and they be giving us looks like I can't dress up in my cultural heritage clothing or be proud of who I am, but y'all can. But it's a problem when we do it. No, we have to educate our kids that if we come from a certain neighborhood and there's a lack thereof of whatever this race is, let me expose it to you on YouTube. Let's watch some videos. This is how they dress. This is how they talk. This is what they eat. So that when you go out there, you can know how to be down to earth, be friendly, be kind. Oh, that's cute. Or just mind your business. But don't be giving a stank look and talking about it because it's different than what you're used to. I wanted to talk about that because I thought that was jacked up, especially at a Christian school, like where it's supposed to be a school where, and I think for the most part, they talk about the Lord and we're founded on the Lord, but I guess it just shows that people are still human, and that so-called people that, well, I can't put it past them because they might just be freshmen. I don't know if they're really Christian or not, but what's in your heart is going to come out. And I just think the looks, and even that adult, that grown man, the way he was looking at them from behind, I could feel it. You know how you could feel somebody looking, making this facial expression because of you for whatever reason? It could be anybody. That's how he was looking at them, and they was looking at him like they was talking with their eyes, and then they would look at me like cut their eyes, and then they would be laughing, but they was laughing at me. It was like an evil laughing, the evil, and then it was like, who she thinks she is, like a stank dad. And my thing is, that's not what's up. We are all God's children. We are all beautiful, but just like you can express your culture and express yourself, I should be able to express it without you looking at me crazy or assuming I think I'm better or looking at me like, what is that? What is, like, that's crazy. Like, that's really crazy. It's really crazy because y'all brought us over here, right? So when we come over here and we try to find our culture again and find our people because it was taken from us, and I reconnect through the clothing and through the jewelry, express my African through what I wear, it's a problem. Y'all looking at me crazy. Y'all, I didn't ask for you to pick me up when I was running through the woods in Africa, but y'all did, because sadly, unfortunately, the Africans turned on the Africans and sold us to the white man. So we here. But don't look at me crazy now that I'm here and I want to express my blackness and my Africanness. Don't do that. Expose yourself to different cultures and different races so that it will be a lack of ignorance, a lack of judgment, a lack of nastiness, a lack of botheredness and can't takeness and it's almost like, oh, your black is a big threat. Oh, you got on a dashiki. Ooh, what she think she is? Ooh, you got on a hair wrap. Who she think she is? But you can have your poncho on. You can have your Asian clothes on, your Indian clothes, and it's not a problem. But when I get all dressed up, it's it's not everybody. Again, it's not everybody. Some people really could care less what I got on, white, Hispanic, whatever their color is. And I'm not saying they have to be looking at me. Like, I'm not saying, look at me, I'm this. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when I walk in the room, the energy shouldn't have shifted where these Caucasians and Latinos is looking at me crazy. Because like I said, everybody else can do it and it's not a problem. But when I came in, they was like looking at me. Then they was giving me fake smiles. Then they was making faces and laughing. Then they was squinching like, no, that's not cute. And especially if you're supposed to be a child of God, like, we should be able to love and appreciate all of our cultures and ethnicities. And that's what I want to talk about, you guys, because that was really something for me. I said, wow, this is almost like a social experiment. And so I stepped aside and I kind of stepped back to look at them. And I was just taking in how they was looking, the faces they was making. I was just taking in their energy and their response to the way that I was dressed, which is just like this. Because again, I have a lot of these dashikis and I'm an Afrocentric person, but just for y'all to be looking and acting that way just because of how I'm dressed, to me, it shows a lack of diversity, a lack of knowledge for other cultures, and a lack of appreciation for other cultures. Or is it just black culture and African culture? Because like I said, it seems like when everybody else does it, it's okay. Now, I walked through that school in that hall in many classes that day, 3 or 4, and nobody seemed to be bothered. Like, nobody was studying me. Everybody, nobody was even thinking about me. But that one little moment just made me think, like, wow, it's 2024 and I'm getting some ignorant responses just because of what I have on, just because I'm representing this. But again, it wasn't everybody. Again, some people nobody, it's people like, nobody, I don't even see you. Who are you? Like that. I'm not acting like, oh, I'm so this and so grand. And I'm not calling for attention. But if you giving me these nasty responses, it just makes me think again, make sure you educate in inform your children and open them up to different diversities and cultures so that they won't be giving nobody the stank look or laughing or giving somebody the side eye, because you know how you can feel people. Like I can feel their aura. So though this guy was facing them, I'm looking at their expression as they looking at him, and they was kind of all talking about me with their eyes. And then he was like looking like, what the heck she got on with his eyes? But I can see him from behind. You like, how you can see him? Because I can still see a part of his face. And that was his expression. I was like, that's rude, because he's a whole administrator and this is a Christian school. What's your problem? I just walked in the office. Now, mind you, could it have been more? Because in that class, a situation happened with me and this Caucasian young lady earlier that day. And I feel like she was a little shook. But and I was going to talk about that, but I ended up talking to somebody and they calmed my nerves. So I was like, I'm gonna just let it go. So were they all just maybe gossiping about me? Maybe that's what it was. And then I came in. That might have been part of it, but I still feel like it's the look for them too. Like the look is like, ooh. And so, like I said, I just think it's interesting how in 2024, some people are just not socially accepting of people's heritage, culture, ethnic dressing. It's just ignorance, because everybody should be able to express themselves, but you can't, express themselves without people like giving them like ugly responses. But at the same time, you can't control people. People are going to be people. Young folks are going to be people, and their lack thereof, and their lack of diversity or lack of this, or just lack of non-European. If it's non-European, it's a problem. But especially if it's African, because you can be Asian, you can be Mexican, you can be Puerto Rican and do your thing in Indian. But if you're African, how dare you be an African woman and think you're beautiful? How dare you be an African woman or a Black woman and express your African through those clothing like it's really something? Like, we look down on y'all, we talk about y'all, we laugh at y'all. That's what it gave me. So I want to say, if you're non-Black out there, take this moment as an educational moment, because I'm not saying that you're racist, but I think it's a lack of, like I said, diversity for other people's cultures, especially the Black and African culture, the non-European culture, or the non-cultures. I feel like ours is looked down on the most. Take this moment and educate your nieces, sisters, siblings, if your parents are, and your children, so that doesn't happen to them, because it shouldn't happen to anybody, from anybody, regardless of their color. And I just want to talk about that. And I was so bothered by it that I actually wrote a couple of poems about it, because it was some interesting stuff happening that day. Like, even during, I guess, lunchtime, they were meeting at a certain place, and I was trying to talk to somebody because I was upset about what had happened earlier. But they was like, oh, she's at this, they was all having this like group meeting or whatever, but the lady had told me it wasn't mandatory. So I was trying to have some privacy time, kind of chill out, pray, kind of get myself together. And I would see like random kids like try to come up the stairs and follow me. Mind you, it's a Christian school, but it's a small school. So at this point, no kids was really where I was. So I feel like they were just coming up there to be nosy. And to me, that was giving like,
to get started in data analytics,
it was just giving like weird small town vibes, like, let me chase this outsider or this different person. And there are other Black kids that go there. So I don't know if it was that or if they was all just gossiping, but it was kind of giving, I thought about it when I went home. I was like, it was kind of giving like cultish vibes when they was like chasing me up the stairs. And when I say chasing me, I had went upstairs, and periodically I would see nosy ones come up just to come up to see what I'm doing. I'm like, go on about your business. I'm 32, y'all 18. Do your thing, leave me alone. Like, it was just giving weird vibes, and it would just be random kids like coming up. But it just made me feel a certain way. And so because of that, I do have like 3 poems that I wrote based off of that. Like, why is my Black a problem for some people, whether they're European, whether they're Latino, whether they're whatever? I see it the most from some Europeans and some Latinos, where it's a problem or it seems to be a threat, or how dare you think you're beautiful? You're nothing. You're a monkey. You're the N-word. You're some of them have this thing where they just assume that they're better than us. And I can tell by your attitude and by the way you look at me, like, ugh, how dare you think you're beautiful? Ugh, how dare you be proud of your culture or your ethnicity? We can, but not you. Like, y'all are nothing. That's the looks I get. And so because of that, that's why I played that song, because it really, when you're Black, is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Like, I'm just being me, and you shook, you bothered over there. And this is not for all of them. Like I said, some people like, I'm not thinking about you, and beauty comes in all races. Like, you got Asians, Latinos, Europeans with the standard typical beauty with the hair down their back, and they all, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like I'm all that. I'm not all that. And I'm gonna do some videos about that later. But again, I feel like it's from this mentality of we're better than you. How dare you think you're beautiful? How dare you like? And I'm not saying all of them, because you got some whites that's real friendly. They be like, "Ooh, your earrings is cute." They be like, "Girl, I like your earrings, and they're really sweet." You know, you got those kind Christian white folks and Latino, anybody like that. I see it more from the Christian white folks more than anybody. And then you got some laid back Latinos that be like, "Okay, that's different," or whatever. I don't meet as many of those, unfortunately, but I know you have those different groups that are open like that. And then you got some people that's just like, "I'm not, babe, we don't even see you. Who are you?" "Oh, I'm not even paying attention." You know, I get that. I'm not saying, but then you have other ones that's really be shook. They be like, you giving me these looks, and I'm like, I'm not giving you those looks. Like, I'm not thinking about you. Like, why are you worried about this? That's a problem. And so I just wrote 3 poems in response to that. But again, it's not out of anger. It's out of observation as an African woman, being in a European society and being displaced and getting negative reactions from mostly Europeans, because Latinos are still Europeans. So from some whites and some Europeans, you know what I'm saying? It could, and honestly, I've been around some Indians that have gave me the same negative looks where they were just shook, like, "Oh, she thinks she all that." And I've got the same response from some Asians when I was in Frisco, Texas, walking around the library. And I be getting some looks from people, like they be bothered by a black queen. And again, no one of us are better than the other. We are all beautiful. We're all God's children. We all came from Jesus. We all came from Adam and Eve. We all came from Ham, Seth, I think, was it? What's the 3 sons? Ham, Japheth, and whatever the dude's name was. All the nations came from them. So this ain't no hate, but this is just me being real. As a black woman, I be noticing some stuff about other cultures, and it's not all of them, but certain ones that just be shook by a beautiful black queen. Like, I'm just being me. Why is that a problem? So because of that, I wrote these 3 poems, and I just wanted to just listen to it. Just understand where a queen is coming from on today. And all women are queens, but I happen to be a black queen, so I'm going to be coming from that perspective. That's the perspective I'm coming from today. And this is not even a Christian poem, okay? This poem is solely just based on my observations as an African woman, okay? This ain't even a Christian poem. I'm not, every time I get on here, I tell y'all to give y'all life to Jesus. Jesus is love. But this is me having a real human moment. This is not me putting down anybody. This is not me saying I'm better than you and black's this and black that and blah, 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 and fight the power. This is me having a realistic moment with you as an African black woman in America. And some of the things I noticed from other cultures when they just be shook for no apparent reason at all. I'm just minding my business. I'm not even coming in there like, "Get out of my way. I am the queen and you need to bow down." I'm just coming in. I just walked in, just asked a question. It was just, okay, I kid you not. And I'm like, that's crazy. It's 2024 and that's your response? Let me find these poems and read these poems, and then I'll let y'all go. I just wanted to share that. I kind of wanted to share it that same day, but I said, let me give it a little bit of time. I'm going to read y'all comments in a moment. I guess I'll just read them right now. Pro-life is when you believe in having the child instead of aborting the child, no matter the situation, no matter the rape, no matter if it's incest, no matter if you don't have the money. We believe that the child should still be born. Sorry, I'm only 12. That's okay. You can learn too. I went to a church. Y'all be only 12, but y'all be watching all types of videos on here. So it's a good time to learn. That's pretty mature too. Like, it's not like 6, 7, 8. You're almost a teenager. So 12. When I was 12, I knew everything about life when I was 7, 6. And my conversations are pretty clean. They don't really get too outlandish. I went to a church like that 20 years ago. Never again. Horrible. I jig, I subbed, your local elbow. I jigged, I subbed, I'll watch later. You're so gorgeous. Thank you. Kimona. I don't know what that means. You look lovely, my sister in Christ. Don't let the enemy tell you different. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this is not even about, I want you to tell me, you're a beautiful black queen. This ain't about that. This is just about, again, y'all, why is it that sometimes from some Europeans and anybody else in different ethnic groups, I'll say that, just so I kind of keep it wide. Let me just say, why is it that sometimes people just be shook by a black woman? And I don't even have to be wearing ethnic clothes, right? When I had my wigs on and we get dressed up, some people just shook. Like it was a crime for me to be black and a woman. woman and beautiful. It was okay for it to be a beautiful Indian, Asian, Latino, whatever. But a beautiful black woman, it's a darn, look at her. It's something about her. It's something about her. We're all God's children. We're all beautiful. But for some reason, we call the attention of nations. And I mean, there's some beautiful, I think Indian women to me are just one of the most beautiful women in the world. They're one of the most beautiful women. Spanish women are beautiful women. All women are beautiful. We just be honest. God put beauty in every race. Okay. So this ain't no, oh, I'm better than you. No, I mean, it ain't nothing like that. But why is it that some people just be shook? That's my point. Some people really just be shook. Like it's a crime to be a black woman and beautiful, no matter what you got on. And to them, this poem I wrote for you. I wrote this poem for you. Now, this ain't finna be long. Let me just find it and I'm gonna let y'all go. Where did I save it at, though? Having trouble finding it. Okay, I'm finna, hold on. I only got 3 of them. Yep. All right, I got 3 of them. Oh, shoot, I thought I did 3. I found 2 right here. All right, here we go. This first one I'm finna do for y'all is called Black Beauty. So here we go. Let's go. Is this it? This is what it's called? All right. And I want y'all to know that I've been to some HBCUs too, and I've been treated some type of way by my own people. Black people don't stick together. We be hating on each other. And that it was a point where it seemed like I went through a part with my own sisters, my own black sisters, where some of them would treat me so bad that I was like, is this what it means to be black, to be angry, to be mean-spirited, to be a bully, to be ghetto, to be bully, because I had been through some bullying. At all 3 of my HBCUs, I went to Clark Jarvis and Texas College. I experienced bullying. It wasn't nobody putting their hands on me, but it was like the way they would come in. One person, like girls would get drunk, knock over my stuff, look at my pictures on the wall and be like, and you ain't cute. And I'm probably going to apologize to you in the morning, turn around and apologize to me in the morning. Well, I shouldn't have did that. I had other ones where they would just be like rude, come in all times of the night. Just fussing and just rude. Just when I had to move, every time I had to either get a room by myself, a situation like that. So I would be like, it was a time where I was like, I don't even want to be like, I hate them. Like I don't even want to be a black woman no more because it seemed like they all mean, but it was just the culture I was around. So what I'm saying is true. Sometimes other ethnicities, they be shook by a beautiful, intelligent black woman. If I was a Megan Thee Stallion, they wouldn't be shook. Unfortunately, if I was a Sexy Red, they wouldn't be shook because that's the norm. It's okay to be black, ignorant, and pull over and show your tail. But when you're black, beautiful, and intelligent, and you got some definition, you know how to talk and carry yourself, and you got some knowledge and wisdom, that's power, and that's dangerous to certain people out there. That's when it's a threat. But then sometimes, unfortunately, it's a threat to your own people. I've been in some colleges where they told me to leave out of a class because I was talking regular common sense, and the other girl had a lack of knowledge, and unfortunately, she was ignorant mentally, and when it came to like education, so they was like doing like baby stuff for her, and I wasn't being mean. I was just saying like what it was. I was like, no, that's that, and it was like, oh, don't do that, like trying to baby it. Like you could have been decent about both of them. Yeah, that's right, but we'll help you. But they was like, no, you need to leave. So I've seen ignorance from my people too. But I'm just talking today on the persuasion, from the perspective of some of the hate that I get from other people just because of who I am ethnically and what I look like. Okay. And let's just talk about it. I'm not perfect, but let's talk about it. This is called Black Beauty. It says, I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of the mess. I'm tired of defending myself. Where is my defender at? I'm tired of fussing with these people that ain't worth the trauma. I'm tired of having to defend this skin, this kind, this lineage. I'm tired of the anger, the taunts, the messing with me when I ain't messing with you. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That sounds like some black woman would say. I'm worn, tired of defending this anointing, tired of these sinners tired of these saints, tired of the foolishness, but I ain't quitting soon. I'm running the race. I'm running to the end. They gather against me. They hurry to persecute and harm me. They hate me. They loathe me. They desire to destroy me. They plot, they scheme, they conspire to demolish me, or at least take away my self-esteem. My brothers, my sisters, they hate me. They envy the cousins, the others, the nations together. He stood as one in the garden in whom the other trees envy. Mystery. His beauty stood out. His statue spoke wonders. His skin black gold, his waves on point, dark and lovely, brown and calmly, chocolate and charming, calling all the other nations woman to him, openly, if not secretly, desiring him. They hate me in my face, yet admire my strength from afar. They couldn't walk a mile in my shoes, so it's me they talk about, try to bring down or discourage. I'm a diamond in the rough. I'm gold in its core. I'm nothing, poor and needy. It's God that has given me everything they hate about me. That's called Black Beauty. I have one more, although I thought it was 3. It's called The Looks. The looks, the stares, the botheredness. Why does my blackness bother you? Why does my head wrap bother you? Why does my brown skin bother you? Why does my African jewelry bother you? Why are you bothered by a queen? I see their looks, glares, their laughs. It's been over 300 years since you brought my African people over here, and you still bothered, some of you. Like to kiss the black man's butt, but piss on a black queen. I'm so over the hypocrisy, jealousy, yet appropriating. Some of y'all so bothered by us, but every chance you get, you copying us. Who is us? Black woman, black queen, trendsetters, culture, mamas. If you can't appreciate and show love to a black woman, then stop reproducing with our offspring. Because it took a black queen to create that black king, that black man that you love so much. Looks. Now, that's it. But I thought I wrote 3 of them, but that's it. That's how I was feeling. Right? Did I have another one? Well, I feel like I had another one though. I feel like I thought I wrote 3 of them. I really did. If I find another one, I'm going to upload it because I really thought I wrote 3 of them real quick. No lie, I thought I wrote 3 of them. I just wrote 2. Anyway. That's how I was feeling. And then when I get like that, it be messing with my head, to be honest with you. But the difference is God and the Holy Spirit, like, I know that God would be like, yeah, it happens, but it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a God versus sin thing. It's a good versus evil thing. But at the same time, though, it is bigger than us because it's not all of us are the same. We're all God's children. It's all about being saved and giving your life to Christ and remembering to love even our enemies, even if they're this, that. I ain't perfect myself. Love me when I'm acting, when I'm tripping, when I got an attitude. Love me because that's what God calls us to do. So I have to do the same. I have to extend the same grace, but I'm human. So this is just talking about that human part of me as a black woman that's wondering like, yo, why are you so bothered by a queen? And any woman is a queen. The Latino woman, the white woman, the Asian woman, and any man is a king, not just the black man, okay? But we speak in Nubian tongues and in Nubian speech when we as black and Africans call each other kings and queens, because for so long they taught us that we were S-H-I-T and N-I-G-G-E-R-S in property. So we had to uplift our self-esteem by saying, no, you're a king, you're a queen, you're black is beautiful. Matter of fact, black is beautiful. You're Nubian, you're African. Now, if you go deeper, they say, well, the Nubians were the East Africans, but we've adapted the term to learn to love ourselves and teach our children to appreciate ourselves. But I say all that to say, God doesn't want me to get caught up in, oh, they looking at you, oh, they hating on you because you're black and beautiful. He like, nah, all of us are beautiful. And even if they hating on you, because he said how they was hating on, if you listen to the poem, I said he stood in the trees and all the other nations were jealous of him. That's a mystery. And the mystery was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was black and beautiful. They are hating on him, but he was also prideful, and prideful is a sin. So my point is, God don't want us to get caught up on our skin color or nothing wrong with loving you, loving your people, but he also wants you to be able to love your enemies through that, not be fake, not be a kiss up, still be for your people, still love you, but to also be for all people, and especially God's people, and especially the Jewish people. But he doesn't want us to get our heart hardened in the midst of racism or biasness toward us and some of the things we go to as black women and black men. So that's what God be dealing with me about, especially years ago when I would experience racism in Texas from different groups. God would show me in a dream as a white girl. He showed me in a dream as a light-skinned girl, as a mixed girl. He would show me this because he would be like, you the pain is the same, but you still human, and you could have been white, and you could have been mixed, and you could have been light-skinned. So all this stuff y'all be getting caught up don't matter, because at the end of the day, all y'all human and all y'all need me. It matters, but not to the point for us to hate each other and to divide and talk about each other and put each other down and say this is this and you're not a part of this, and you know what I'm saying? Not to divide each other. We're all God's children. Even we different, some things we may not agree because the cultures is different, ethnicity is different. That's the truth. But we should all agree about respecting and loving and becoming knowledgeable about other people's culture, so we can be culturally accepting of other cultures. Doesn't mean we have to literally accept like different beliefs, but we can respect the person and show love because God is love, even if we disagree. So God be working with me on about that, because he be like, even what you go through, remember, God is love. You represent Christ. You're not just called to Africans and black people. You're people. You're called to all people, and especially God's people, and causing the loss out of every nation, pointing them to Jesus, saying Jesus loves you. You can make it, turn from sin, be born again. We're all beautiful. But again, I'm having a human black woman, black moment. I'm having an African woman moment where it just be like, man, why they so bothered like that? But at the end of the day, that can't save my soul. People gonna be what they are, whether it's bothered, whether it's not bothered, whether it's this, that, or the other, whatever it is. Only person that can change people is Jesus. But we can help each other out if we talk to each other and get to know each other instead of assuming, talking about, putting each other down, laughing. You know what I'm saying? If we sit and get to know each other. NDRE had a song, I forgot what it was called, but she said if Democratic people would talk to Republican people, it would make us diplomatic people all around. She said if black people would talk to white people, it would make us better people all around. If all of these people would sit down and talk to each other, not just your little friend, and talk to that person that you always talking about, hearing all these rumors about. They might not even be true. You might get to know them and they might be your friend, or you could at least hear another perspective if you take the time to get to know them instead of assuming or being mean-spirited or having this ugly spirit or a prideful spirit behind it. We got to learn how to educate ourselves about each other and to love each other, in these awkward situations, in these difficult situations where we don't understand each other. And sometimes as a black woman, as a black queen, it's hard because, if you piss me off, I'm going to get to run in my mouth because I got a mouth and I'm trying to work on that. I'm really trying to work on that. I'm human over here, okay? We all got something. Y'all might not have the attitude problem, but we all got something. And it's not like I walk around being mean. Sometimes I just don't want to be bothered. I just be to myself. But it's because I've been through so much and I be alone. So it causes you to be a certain way. And I'm not talking about just get the blank out of my way. That's not it. Just kind of reserved to myself because I'm used to being hurt. I'm used to being talked about. I'm used to being rejected. So I just be like kind of not trusting, like trying to figure it out first, just observing, So I'm just observing, and I'm older, I'm observing. But y'all just pray my strength in the Lord. Jesus loves you. God bless you. Thank you. Your skin is beautiful. I'm glad you weren't insecure. No. I'm not insecure. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I don't wake up beautiful. I wake up looking like a koala bear. I'm about to do videos about it this morning. I was looking in the mirror like, whoa, you look like poop right now. And it humbled me. I'm going to do a video on it. So I'm not in no pride, and I ain't insecure. I can't be insecure. I was raised by a strong black woman. She told me I was beautiful. But she also told me, you're a beautiful young lady, but you got some ugly ways that you need to work on. And she said, if I don't correct you, God will correct you. You don't want him to do it because either you going to end up dead. So she would discipline me. She would tell me when I was wrong. She would tell me to be respectful. She would say, respect your teachers, adults, even when they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, let God deal with it. I remember this one time this lady discriminated against me and this other girl was giving me a hard chance. She fell off the stage at the award ceremony that night because God said, what's that word called? He said, don't mistreat his children. He loves children, especially when his children, you raising them up right. And I was a child of God, even as a little child, a little girl, a little 4th, 5th grader. That lady was wrong because this other girl was calling me a B every time she couldn't stand me. She was into Harry Potter and witchcraft. And that lady threw a shoe at me one day in class. And I left out and told the principal, told my mama. And my mama said, ma'am, you ain't right for that. Now, my mom would have been ghetto. She would have punched that lady because she had no business throwing no shoe at me. I was just looking down and her and the other teacher was talking about me. And she just threw a shoe because I guess she thought I wasn't paying attention to her, whatever. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. She was wrong. She fell off the stage that night. But God said, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. So what's my point? We all God's children. Ain't nobody better than the other. I don't think I'm better than you. Ain't got to, but we got to love each other. That's my point. We got to educate each other. And we sit down and talk to each other, we'll be better people. So that we won't be resenting and hating or whatever the case may be, because that ain't God. You can say you Christian all day long, but if you're looking at somebody crazy because of the color of their skin or what they got on or whatever, that ain't God. That ain't God. That's some low-key racism. That's some low-key prejudice. And you got to get that out your heart. And all of us can be prejudiced. Black people can be prejudiced sometimes. Sometimes we all say something about something. But if we let God in, he going to move everything that's not right. And when you truly got the Holy Spirit, he going to help you love people regardless. And even love me when I'm difficult, when I don't want to be bothered. I might get an attitude with you and I might just be cranky because I ain't have nothing to eat. I ain't have no coffee yet. I ain't had no sweets. It might be that time of the month. She might have said something about me. Now I'm mad at you. You know what I'm saying? So we got to show patience and grace with each other. But y'all pray for me. I love y'all. And I thank y'all. And y'all please be safe out there. This, what is it called? This is my favorite holiday, Labor Day weekend. This is my favorite month, and I got a surprise for y'all. I'm going to do something fun on Labor Day. Orphan Annie's going to do something fun, so y'all will see me on live on Labor Day if my internet connection is working, so look forward to that. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Pray my strength in the Lord. If you haven't, give your life to Jesus. Jesus saves. He is God. He's the only true living God for the Jews and the Gentiles alike, for all the nations. We must be born again according to Acts chapter 2 in the Bible, verse 38. In Jesus' name, and filled with the Holy Spirit, and John 3:3. Jesus is love, Jesus saves, and the Holy Spirit makes all the difference, and holiness is still right. Pray for me. I love you all, no matter your color. I love my black sisters and love my black brothers, love my white sisters and brothers, and everybody, Asians, Latinos, Indians, everybody in Christ. And if you don't have Christ, you need Christ. But if you don't have Christ and you come at me a certain way, I might say something back. I'm not all the way where I need to be yet. I'm not going to cuss, but I'm going to say something back. Just pray my strength in the Lord. Y'all pray for me. I love you and God bless. Bye-bye. Thank y'all for tuning in, and be safe. Be safe this weekend. God bless. Keep God first.